Bell, squad boss, Bob Marley, freedom fighter, big dick detector, click drencher.
Good morning, my friends.
Bad and bougie. Oh, I make it bust like a toolie. Oh, so unruly.
Oh, yes, indeed. It's Brekky In The Cave. Out to everyone locking in nice and early.
But it still ain't.
I've been looking forward to this morning.
You don't want this cup of tea. You don't want these issues. You don't
Kicking off with this one from Nadia Rose, going by the name of Bad and Bougie. We are live on Cubcam TV, DAB via Trickstar Radio. It's Brekky In The Cave, myself, Kovu, in the hot seat till 11:30.
Centipede, no line shit. It's a jungle out here.
Yeah, let this one run through and then let you know exactly what we've got going on today. Give you some weekend updates as well. Whoa, it's going to be a good one.
And such is life. You roll the dice, you roll the 6, and I roll the 9.
Make sure you are throwing a subscription to the channel. If you are new, throw a like on the video. Let us know how you're feeling in the chat as well. Let's get some convos going this morning. I'm feeling good, baby.
Are you listening? Bad and bougie. That's me. I make it bust like a toolie. Yeah. So unruly. Like a bitch, and I like my bad and bougie. I make it bust like a toolie. I make 'em bust. Yeah. So unruly. Like a bitch, and I like my dude. If you spend a day in my shoes, matter of fact, you can't afford these boots. All this back, I put my all in too. All my horns out too. Already know I'm a cocky bitch. Find me where some cocky is, or I'm with your bitch, and I'm doggy in that. I'm going off track, but look at all of that back. If I got it in white, I definitely got it in black. I'm kinda into both, if you didn't notice. I'm really into bread, if you got the hobby. If you're talking racks, then I'm all in. Put me in Chanel, that made me shed a tear. You're talking heights, well I'm top tier. Private jet flights from the cockpit. Find me where some cock is. I know I told them already, no humming going again. I'm in 2 rounds, so there's no humming. Bringing a friend, come make it bounce. Come, get this 10 out of 10. Again and again. Bad and bougie. I'm bad and what? I make it bust like a tea. I make 'em bust. Yeah. So I'm rude. Like what the fuck? Like a bitch, and I like my dude. Stay lighting up the. I stay puffing on the. Mashing up the. The one and only. Smoking on the macaroni. The one and only. The one and only.
Yo, this is Ellie Sabine Singh, and you're listening to Breakfast with Kovu.
The one and only.
Right then, my friends, we're inside the building. It's Brekky In The Cave. I hope everyone's feeling okay this morning. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you all. Out to everyone checking out the podcast as well. Welcome to Cubcam TV. If it's your first time tuning into the channel, if it's not your first time and you are back here because you're already subscribed, welcome back. I hope you had a good weekend and you enjoyed the content that did go up this weekend. It was a very busy weekend for content in regards to new music, reactions and things like that going up. We've had 3 new reactions drop over the weekend. We also, of course, had the video with Ed Rant's Bridge the Gap, looking into the difference between grime and drill and how they kind of came together. Some big news to reveal with that. We have got some very exciting news, which I can't let you know just yet, just because we're dotting the I's and crossing the T's, as it were, with that. But it's looking like it's going to be a very exciting thing we've got going with it. So there's going to be some big news on the way. For that series in particular, obviously for the channel, we're still growing. We're still putting stuff out there. We're still continuing to find new things to do content on. Out to everyone who obviously saw the battle that dropped last week, myself versus Henry. We're going to be putting together a reaction video to that. We're going to react live to the to the battle itself, like go through the writing process, how it kind of came together, how stuff happened. That should be quite an interesting one as well. And in general, yeah, we're going to carry on trying to grow because the growth has been outstanding. I've got to say, we start this week on 825 subscribers. So of course, the aim by the end of this week is to be sitting on 900 when we return to that Trickstar studio. So that's the big news this morning, which is slightly saddening, but also gratifying, of course. We will be returning to Trickstar Radio, which was always the plan. We shall be returning to Trickstar Radio to do the breakfast show live inside the building from 7 till 10, which was my original slot, which is the slot I've been doing for nearly a year and a half, up until the start of lockdown, which is obviously my day job. That's how I get paid, so I haven't really been getting paid too much since this lockdown's been in place. But yeah, from August the 1st, I will be back in the building, conducting the show in a very similar kind of format. I'm going to be obviously putting together a lot of guest interviews, a lot of feature sections, a lot of news breaks, and of course keeping everyone up to date with the newest music. Now, how this will affect Brekky in the Cave is going to be quite interesting in the way it works. What we're going to do is we're going to be streaming every day from 8:45, so we've got around 15 minutes of warm-up time to kind of make sure the stream's working and all that sort of stuff and get some music playing, and then we're going to be doing interviews every day from 9 till 10 a.m. So everything just kind of shifts forward an hour. Now, obviously, the difference with this is it's going to be live on DAB at the same time, so if you aren't able to lock in via YouTube specifically, you can obviously download the Trickstar Radio app and listen in through there, or if you're in the Brighton area, you can lock in via DAB on your car radio or your home radio, whatever radio you're using. So there we go. Like that's going to be the plan, and as I said before, it was always the plan to eventually go back to Trickstar because primarily I need to get paid, and also because I love my show. You know, it is a DAB radio show. It's not a show that's kind of put together purely for the sake of YouTube. This is almost like a bite-sized version of the show that I would normally be doing. So there we go. But yeah, rest assured, we will still be streaming the show every morning. That's 8:45 through till 8:45 through till 10 every morning. And then after that, obviously the podcast will still go up directly afterwards. What I might start doing, however, is literally cutting out anything that isn't interview, though. I might cut it down so there's not the intro block on the podcasts anymore, purely because it won't start in the right place and it'll be a little bit thrown all over the place if I do that. So I think what I'll probably be doing is doing just the interviews as the podcast sections, and you'll hear how kind of different it sounds. But there we go. That's the kind of big news for this week. Obviously, we saw the end of the Premier League. It's come to an end, and we've seen the positioning. Liverpool obviously walk away with 99 points at the top of the league. City in second place, and I think 80 is it 86 they're sat on, or 85? I can't remember how many points it is, but they're a considerable way behind. Obviously, drama on the last day. United finishing in third thanks to a controversial penalty decision and a very uncharacteristic mess up from Kasper Schmeichel, allowing Lingard only his second goal of the season, and Chelsea comfortably taking that fourth place as well, with a comfortable victory on the last day. Leicester drop out, which is saddening. I think we see Spurs finish up in 6th, with Wolves in 7th, and then Arsenal in 8th. So it's been and then Sheffield in 9th, I believe. So it's an interesting top 10, the way it's kind of formed towards the end of the season. And yeah, I'm just excited for the new season. I think obviously we've now got the Champions League patch of games on the way. We've also got the Europa League on the way, and then we go into the summer that we've got the FA Cup as well, and I think that's this. I don't know when that's actually going to be on, but I think in August is when the European games start. Then obviously we've got the transfer window taking place, which opens from today, I believe, as the signings go through. Big signing news. Looks like Lallana's on his way to Brighton. That's a great signing for them if they can keep him fit, as Brighton stay up and look to kind of improve the squad and start moving up the table. They've been in and around that sort of relegation zone for a couple of years since coming up, and I think now they've got the foundations are there as a club. They've got a few good prospects there. Obviously, Mopay is a quality player. You've obviously got Lamptey coming through as well. There's a good foundation to the team there, and I think now they should be looking to kind of push forward and move their way up the table. I'd love to see Brighton further up the table personally, but obviously I am a United fan, so I'm very happy with the result yesterday. Nail-biting stuff, and yeah, just excited to be back into the Champions League. So there we go. A quick little dart around on things that we need to be taking a look at. Obviously, socials. You can catch me on Instagram as well as Facebook, alongside Twitter and, of course, SoundCloud. All of those at KXVU, as you can see in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And as I was saying before, if you are looking into the show via YouTube and you aren't going to be able to lock in via YouTube at the early time, fear not, you can check out the Trickstar Radio app, or you can lock in via Spotify, Apple Music, or SoundCloud for the podcast. It goes up around half an hour after the show finishes. Following that as well, massive shouts out to our sponsors, Sharpen Digital. They've played a big part in making this YouTube channel what it is, as we now sit on 825 subs. 4 months ago, we were on 50. So there we go. It's been a positive growth period for 4 months, thanks to them, the official sponsor of Brekky In The Cave. If you've got a social media project that you want to grow, hit them up. They're very good at it. And, of course, if you haven't already checked out the Thursday premieres or the premieres over the weekend, make sure you are checking them out. Obviously, we review the best new music videos ahead of Fresh Friday. So this, the last few days, what have we got through? We did the new Losky and Miz and Mac tune. We did the new G4 Boys tune. We did, as well as that, there was another one that I can't quite remember what it was. That's annoying. Oh yeah, AO Britain with double L's, that their new tune I put in there as well. We did a review for that over the weekend. We also did the new Pot of Paper freestyle as well. That's in there, and there's a couple of other ones. The new Killer P tunes in there as well. There's a collaboration as well between Lottie Jade, T Zandos, and someone else whose name escapes me. I'm going to try and bring it up on my screen before I look like a bit of an idiot. Marnie, that's the other one. Obviously, huge artist for what she does. So they're all new reactions that are available on the channel. Please don't go and check them out as well if you haven't already. Obviously, this channel is pretty much half radio, half reaction. We're very much a music-based channel with extra bits of content on the way. And yeah, it's looking like a very bright future for the channel. So out to every single person who's getting involved, obviously subscribing and bringing something new to the table. It's very nice to see you all here. Make sure you are throwing a like on the video. It makes a massive channel, and as I said, it makes a massive difference to the reach of the video. And as I said before, if you are looking for the first time, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. We want to get to that 900 by the end of this week. Let's crack on then, because we've got some bangers on the way. This one coming to us from Marky Ledge, going by the name of No Game, one of my favourite tunes from the selection last week. Going by the name of No Game. This one dropped on Duplock last week, so don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. It's Brekky In The Cave. Oh yes!
You don't own me, do you even have a clue? You don't know me like you think you do. This is no game for two, so let's play. This is no game, no game.
When we come, you know we make a fuss, we have a run. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I mean, I use no gun. I use no gun. I use no gun. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I use no gun. When we come, you know we make a fuss, we have a run. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I use no gun. I use no gun. I use no gun. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I use no gun. Gun.
You don't know me like you think you do. You don't own me, do you even have a clue? You don't know me like you think you do. This is no game for two, so let's play. This is no game.
Come you know we make a fuss, we have a run. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I use no gun. I use no gun. I use no gun. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I use no gun. When we come, you know we make a fuss, we have a run. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I use no gun. I use no gun. I use no gun. Feel me lyric, I go kill him. I use no gun.
This is no game for two, so let's play.
Right then, my friends, we're inside the building. It's Brekky In The Cave. Out to everyone locking in this morning. We're having a fantastic time and really enjoying the show, to be honest with you. Good banger there from Marky Ledge, sorry. Track entitled No Game. That one dropped on Friday, as always. Mondays, we tend to kind of rerun through the tracks we played on Fresh Fridays and bring you some good vibes to kind of kick off your morning in style, because that's what we like to do. More than anything else, we want to make sure we're bringing you some good energies on a Monday morning. Now, a lot of people don't like Monday mornings. Me, they're my favourite part of the week, because if you get off to a good Monday, I find the rest of the week just kind of slots into place, and you find yourself finding loads of extra bits of time and things like that. So I like to be busy on a Monday morning. However, we're going to look at a bit of news here it comes from GRM Daily. This limited edition 24K gold PlayStation 5 set to drop later this year. Who needs a solid gold PlayStation 5? I'm just going to ask the question. Who needs one? Like, what's the actual functioning purpose? Apart from being bougie, what's the point? What's the need for a PlayStation 5 that's made of solid gold? What do people get from it? What? Never understood it. I understand, like, showing off wealth or whatever. I can understand the root of that, or at least where it comes from. But, like, why do people need a limited edition 24K PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 even? Let me read through this. Premier British luxury customizing brand Truly Exquisite have just unveiled plans to drop a 24-karat gold-plated limited edition PlayStation 5. With the standard price of the PlayStation 5 still in the air, predicted to be around the 500 mark, it's clear the price tag on this edition is going to be ridiculous. I mean, it's 500 for the normal one. What happens when you coat it in the most valuable resource on the planet? Well, one of the most valuable resources on the planet. In the past, the gold edition of the PS4 was priced at £8,400. With this being the minimum for this new release, we are realistically looking at a console that's going to be priced at around £9,000. Now, the only way to pre-order the limited edition PS5 is through the registration on the website, where it shows various mock-ups of the gold-plated controllers and a headset. The console is most probably set to drop this December, right in time for Christmas, with no more than 100 being released worldwide. It's unclear how much involvement Sony will have with the product, and it's looking like there's going to be little to none in the actual building process. Truly Exquisite are also known for creating gold-plated various items such as the Samsung S20. Imagine having a gold-plated Samsung phone. What? Apple Watches, iPhones, and iPads as well. So it's a weird one, bro. Like, who is actually out here buying gold-plated PlayStations? Who? Why? What's the point? Maybe I'm just a bit of a pessimist, but it just seems like a tremendous waste of money for me, because it would still break if you dropped it. Like, it doesn't add any extra protection. I doubt very much that it adds anything extra to the actual gameplay level. So all you're doing, realistically, is you're buying a box made of gold that has the fun things inside it. It's like getting a takeaway in a gold container. What's the like? I can understand if it like upgraded and the wiring was all made of gold or whatever, and it updated the speed of the game or something like that. But when it's literally just the box, what? Makes no sense whatsoever. I just don't understand why people do it to themselves. Anyway, I'm going to quit my my moaning mood, which is clearly I've woken up in a bizarre mood, and crack on with this one, because it's an absolute banger coming from Chronix. This one going by the name of Cool as the Breeze. Wicked tune, this one, and I can't wait to get into it, purely because it's one of my favourite reaction videos I've ever done as well, and for me, this is up there with Mozambique for one of the tunes of the year. Yes, I said it, and I mean it, okay? I mean it. It's exactly what I mean. Let's crack on then. Cool as the Breeze, sounds of Chronix.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. 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 Roll out the cool as the breeze. While it look like a science book, where a school me go teach. Rev the truck up to the mountain top, and as soon as me reach, go get the skunk, kick the shoes off my feet, then me bless the cup, 32 sounds me read. Give thanks for the love me receive, me work every day in the street, and every day end with nights like these. When a holiday, touch on the beach, a white t-shirt and a cut off jeans, and we not need no sneakers. No. Sun grains and massage me feet, blessing a flow like river. Girl drop asleep, she steam the indica, wake her and say, sun burning up till it red. Welcome to Kingston every day. It's a summer every night, feel like a Friday. Rev the bike till I'm swear. It's on my high grade, I make the irate. Still we not got red eyes, and nobody thinks every night a Friday. Oh yeah, oh yeah. General, when you touch the road, me I'm an empress of my brother, then me rolling the stranger. Herbs bitter like an emerald and 1 pound. Now several in the chalice, pop it up, no Babylon to the vapor. Tell her them they're ready for the energy, we bringing every style of them a follow, yes, how we are the maker. Spending like I run, I think I Bolton. We come here, remember every day of summer when you're there at Jamaica. Hold on, baby, this place kinda crazy. Oh, everybody a dance, catch the energy. Babylon can't stop the music. Rastafari keep it grooving. The whole world I pray for touchdown in the West Indies. God, the sun's burning up till it red. Welcome to Kingston every day. It's a summer every night, feel like a Friday. Rev the bike till I'm saying it's on my high grade, I make the irate. Yeah. Still we not got red eyes, and nobody thinks every night a Friday. Yeah. Oh yeah, every day. In the streets, every day end with nights like these. When a holiday, we touch on the beach, a white t-shirt and a cut off jeans, and we don't need no sneakers. The warmth and paint and massage my feet, me locks long like Jesus locks. When the steam this sativa, la 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 la, danza, la 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 la, danza, oh, danza, 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 people danza, people danza, people danza, people danza. Sun burning up to the red. Welcome to Kingston every day. It's a summer every night, feel like a Friday. Rev the bike till them swim. So on my high grade, I make with irate. Still we not go red, yeah, if you know about the things every night on Friday. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Right there, my friends, we're back inside the building. How are we doing this morning? It's Brekky in the Cave. I'm having a good time today, I've got to say. Out to everyone locking in right about now. If you are locked in, please make sure you're throwing a like on the video. Makes a massive difference to the reach and getting involved in the chat on the right-hand side. Out to a man like Jack joining us this morning. How are you doing, my friend? I hope you're okay. I hope you're enjoying the morning. I hope you're enjoying the show so far as well. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know where you're locked in from as well. I like to find out where the reach of this show goes to in regards to the different places it hits and everything like that. So yeah, if you are looking in, please do leave a comment on the right hand side. Let's get some likes on the video as well. Obviously we want to grow the video up and make sure this is the thing with YouTube, how live works, and I've only recently found this out properly. The reason people ask for likes on streams is because the more likes you get on it, the more the video is then attached to growth on social media networks. So if I put a YouTube video up that has 6 likes on it, it's more likely to be seen by people on a Facebook feed or a Twitter feed or an Instagram feed, purely because it's already got the interaction. So if you are locked in, throw a like on the video, and I guarantee we can continue to grow the show and more people will arrive. It's that simple, really. So do me a favor. I can see a couple of people liking the video. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. As I said before, let us know how you're feeling in the chat on the right-hand side. How was your weekend? Did you watch the football? Let me know. I'm keen to hear, because obviously we've got some guests on the way as well, so I'm looking forward to getting into the chat with them. As always, any questions you actually have for both guests, please do leave them in the chat on the right hand side, and I will ask them towards the end of each interview. So there we go. We have got R3DX on the way. He's going to be jumping on the line in about 8 minutes or so. Following that, we're going to be talking to Kryphon. One thing I really don't understand at the moment is the weather is very confusing. I don't really know whether I'm hot or cold half of the time anymore, and it's not a good thing, purely because I don't know how. Am I going to be able to just wear this and shorts when I'm outside? I don't know. Genuinely have no idea. On a side note as well, I am recording an advert for Sansa this afternoon as well. I'm heading over to their recording studio to get some video footage done for their Deliveroo launch. If you haven't already tried it, if you are in the Brighton area, literally give Sansa a go. One of the best new restaurants up and coming in Brighton. I went there over the weekend and grabbed some grub. Spectacular as per, really was. But let's jump into a little bit of news, shall we? Let's have a little look through my selections here. Here we go. This is an interesting one. Bandcamp apparently are set to continue their fee-free Fridays for the rest of 2020. So Bandcamp Day is going to be an ongoing scenario. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be carrying on all the way through, and I'm really excited to see this, because obviously if we're looking at kind of highlights of lockdown, like things that have happened, we'll obviously look at No Signal being one of them, and the clashes they've been putting together. We'll look at the just clashes in general that have been happening. That's been very exciting. I'd like to put Brekky In The Cave up there as one of the highlights of things that has happened, because I love this show. You know what I mean? It's something that I love to pieces. And as well as that, one of the big things that has been like taking over the newsfeed near enough once a month is Bandcamp Day. Now, Bandcamp have done a very, very good thing with what they've done, obviously waiving their fee one day a month, so they're basically Bandcamp make no money. And what this has done is it has genuinely supplied a lot of artists with a musical lifeline, which has been able to help them get through this treacherous period. Like it's been fantastic to watch. But here's the article. This comes from Amy Fielding over at DJ Mag. Bandcamp has announced plans to continue the fee-free Fridays for the rest of 2020. In March this year, Bandcamp waived its revenue share for all sales made in a 24-hour period between midnight and midnight PST. In support of artists using the platform, artists earned $4.3 million in the first fee-free Friday, with almost 800,000 items being sold through the platform. See, that's a phenomenal amount of money. Even if one person's getting like £50 can make a lot of difference during this time. That can be food for like 4, 5, 6-7 days if you're clever with it. Like, if you haven't got another source of income and you rely solely on live shows for or live performance or even being a studio engineer or any of these things where you're required to kind of be out in a public space, and you haven't been able to do that for a while, you're not going to have the income, especially if you've only been doing it for less than sort of 3 years and you haven't got the self-employment, the 3 years of self-employment in place, which means you're not even able to claim for the grant. This is like important, like it really is. According to Bandcamp, sales were more than 15 times the norm for the Friday, with a peak demand seeing a staggering 11 items bought per second. Imprints such as Hyperdub also announced they would not be taking any cut from the revenue, so 100% of cash went directly to the artists in those instances. Or across the 4 free Fridays that have taken place so far, fans paid out more than $20 million directly to artists. Now, this is way more than any government seems to be offering, the British government anyway seems to be offering in regards to actually keeping artists afloat. There's a £20 million pool there, which has gone direct to artists, and they've come out essentially and said that regardless of lockdown being lifted, they are going to carry on with this scenario. So we're going to see August the 7th, September the 4th, October the 2nd, November the 6th, and December the 4th, all being Bandcamp days moving forward. So it's going to carry on for at least the rest of the year, which is very exciting indeed. And it's good of them. I like the fact that they are fully getting behind it. They're fully getting involved and making sure more than anything else that artists do have that lifeline. And I think what's kind of happened with this is people have kind of predicted this will happen, meaning that on Bandcamp Fridays is when people are now starting to release their projects, is when people are starting to essentially, and the interesting thing about this, just to cut in front of myself, is obviously payday is at the end of the month. So the start of the month is I'd say the last sort of week of the month tends to be the week where people are spending money. But now with this in the first week of the month, every month, it adds a whole extra element to when people can buy music. So I think it's a very interesting one to look at and break down. And I think Bandcamp have done a very good thing. I mean, the PR from this has been fantastic for them, but also it's done a good thing. And this is the thing. If you're doing something that gives you good PR, but it's also a good thing anyway, what's the issue? There is none. Well done, Bandcamp. That's all I can say. Let's crack on with one more banger then before we get into this conversation with man like R3DX. I know he's very excited to come on the show, so we're going to be talking to him in just a second. Looking through these bangers that I've got in the bag, I'm feeling this one. We're going to get into this one. Coming from XL Mad, this one going by the name of Real Reggae Music, produced by the Numa Crew. I'm going to get the phone loaded up with man like R3DX, and we're going to crack on from here. So don't go anywhere, my friends. Keep it locked. Throw a subscription on the channel. Throw a like on the video as well. I can see how many of you are locked in, and I can see how many likes the video has. So if we can convert that number of listeners into likes, we'll make a massive difference to the video, and we can continue with the show in good fashion. So don't go anywhere. It's Brekky In The Cave. Oh yes.
Reggae music all night, all day, yeah. Reggae music all night, just real reggae music all night, all day, yeah. Dance all of the set, I feel place up the chalwa on the sound system, yeah. Unity we want in on the dance, we are blessed by the most high. We no fear system, Babylon a fall like rain, yeah. Them a want your soul, them a get in on your head. Chemicals in the ground, in the air. Babylon every time I want to trick where Judge a bless to get to you to want to set free. The most of them will never understand where you never have to work Sunday to Sunday. Get to you to rise, you have to make it. The cage in your head, you have to break it. All of them a try to hide them head, but them can't fly away. Crew in the dance. 1 time, 2 times, 4 fights, been fine. Sizzler, Buju Bantan, man a combine. Gangster rain and gangster time. Don't play it special like a thunderball. We play mini man, Buru Bantan and busy signal. Super cat, warehouse and the big cable ton. Big up yellow man, Mikey Dread and Papa San. All of them are set the way, so them youth will make a plan. New underground, massive alliance. Stepping out of Babylon like brown lion. Yes, we step on, running out fast at them Babylon at Devon. We can't stand 1 more second. New underground, massive alliance. Stepping out of Babylon like brown lion. Yes, we step on, running out fast at them Babylon at Devon. We can't stand 1 more second.
Right then, friends, we're back inside the building. How are we doing this morning? It's Brekky in the Cave here on Cubcam TV, live, of course, via DAB if you are looking in via in the Brighton area, obviously via Trickstar. Man like R3DX is on the phone. How are we doing this morning? Are you all good?
Yes, man, all good. Nice to be here.
Good. It's good to have you on, sir. It's good to have you on. How's your morning looking so far?
It's been good. Just I don't know what this weather's doing, so I've got the heating on because it's freezing around here. And
okay, cool, fair enough. I mean, where are you based?
I'm London myself.
You're London. Okay, cool. So obviously with this one, it's going to be quite an interesting one. It's an interview I've been looking forward to doing purely because of the kind of range of sounds you've been putting out. So I'm very keen to kind of like look through all the different sort of areas of sound you've been getting involved in, and obviously the kind of history behind that. So I want to kind of take this back to the beginning to begin with. That makes sense. Kind of looking at what was the thing that kind of drew you towards production in the first place? Like, what did you have quite like a musical upbringing, or what was it?
I never really did much as a kid. Like, I always liked listening to music, and my parents would always play different kinds of stuff. But in about year 7, so secondary school, I got into learning the drums, and then just through learning music at school, we had to just start using Logic, and then it kind of just went from there. And then just learning how to record bands and engineer their stuff. And then in like 2014, I think I was at the skate park with some of my friends, and they played Leveler, Ecstasy Love, and Marmite Motorway, and that just flipped a switch in my brain, and I was like, right, I like drum and bass now. So it's just been keeping it going from there. Okay, wow. So it was literally a case of like one tune kind of made you go, okay, right, I'm into this now. This is a bit of me. Yeah, fully, because I was a full-on metalhead. Like, I had double bass pedals. I was going to gigs, like, didn't listen to anything electronic, but that just resonated with me differently, I think. Nice, man. I mean, that's quite an interesting thing, and it's it seems to be like surprisingly common in the way it's been kind of in the way kind of electronic music gets into a lot of people's kind of lives. It seems to be that they have like an interest in music, and then this new thing appears, and then suddenly you go, ooh, I'm interested, and people kind of gravitate towards it. Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think a lot of it's just to do with just energies. Like, you know, if you really like your kind of up-tempo stuff, I think like other bits of just like metal can get into you, or rock or indie, like just as long as they've got a good vibe about them, I think it'll hook, line and sinker. Definitely, bro. And I mean, obviously with that sort of earlier period then, that Leveler tune being almost the thing that kind of drags you in immediately. Just to kind of break this down then, what was the kind of thing you did directly after that then, after you heard it? Did you go on like a tune hunt, or did you kind of go, I want to try and recreate it? Like what was the sort of process into you kind of accepting that this is what you wanted to do? It kind of just came naturally at a point where, as I got into D&B, my band life kind of just started to dissipate. We had our own things to do, just university, and all had to go and do our own thing. So as that kind of just stopped and I stopped playing in my band as much, I then just started to get more into production because I started raving, and my friend was like, oh, if you want to start DJing, you've got to be making tunes. And so I was like, well, I know how to use Logic from school, so I just kept it going from there, just watching hours of YouTube tutorials, different sets, like loads of just different artists and sounds, like trying to just find inspiration or finding stuff that just would make me go, oh, I like the sound of that. Okay. And then trying to incorporate it for myself. Nice, man. I mean, so with that kind of process of learning then, would you say that YouTube was pretty much was essentially your teacher? Yeah, pretty much. Like, so much of just different sound design videos, different ways to, you know, EQ, arrange stuff. There's so many different things that you can find if you just really want to teach yourself. Like, with that then, would you say that you, realistically at this point, I mean, it's a bizarre question to ask, I know, but would you say it's kind of necessary to study music production at an academic level when YouTube is available? I would say, to be honest, nowadays it's really not. If you've got the determination and drive, a lot of it just comes down to muscle memory from doing everything. Like, I just did music at school because it was the one thing I liked, and then we just happened to do production on top of it. But if you're someone who's sat at home and wanting to just dabble in production, you can literally just get yourself a copy of Logic, Ableton, Fruity Loops, get yourself some videos. There's a wealth of production tutorials and services as well out there, so you can just sit down and just put your mind to it. But yeah, I think you can get straight through it. Yeah, I'd agree, man. I'd agree. I think I think that's something that I know this is something that used to annoy me about kind of studying music on studying production more specifically on an academic level. Whenever you kind of, the first sort of 6 months to a year of any course seemingly is kind of learning the basics. But I've always found if you're doing
that sort of thing, you will already know the basics. Otherwise, you wouldn't kind of be there.
Yeah, exactly that. When I did my university course, we just had to start off from music production and just literally just having to sit there and just go step by step, and I'm just there, just bored. But it's like sometimes you've got to reinstill the fundamentals in you to make sure they're really in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I feel that, and I think that repetition is obviously the key to learning in a lot of circumstances. Like, so, kind of moving forward then from those earlier sort of days of obviously taking in kind of YouTube tutorials and kind of being inspired essentially by hearing a sound for the first time. How do you then kind of go from that to basically becoming Red X?
So it was pretty much just I started going raving with a group of friends, and basically back when I was in school and like I wasn't really working when I was around like 16, 17, my friends were like, oh, if you learn to DJ, then you can get a set and you won't have to pay to get in. So I was like, okay, that sounds cool. And then my friends were like, if you start DJing, you got to make tunes. And then just it all kind of started going from there. And as I went raving and I started meeting people, making just connections, getting myself known, it kind of just all kind of fell into place. I didn't really try and kind of come in just as like, I want to DJ, I want to do this. It was just something I did for fun that just happened to kind of get a little bit of a snowball, and then I realised, I can do something with this.
Nice, man. I mean, that's kind of how everyone wants it to be as well, isn't it? You kind of almost want to stumble into it rather than kind of like going, I really want to do this exact thing and then following like a pattern. You want it to be kind of spontaneous, and you want it to kind of be something that kind of engulfs your life more than kind of almost like being engineered, I suppose. So like with like influences and stuff now, would you still say you're listening to a lot of the same people you were to begin with, or would you say it's kind of shifted quite dramatically?
I'm always finding myself just hopping from different genres to whatever kind of my mood is like. It's like sometimes I'll just be listening to nothing but UK drill or old hip hop or like future bass electronic stuff, or I'll just go back and I'll listen to a load of old bands. It's all over the place. There's just so much new music, especially nowadays, coming out, that you can just go on like a Spotify random shuffle, and probably 8 times out of 10 you'll find a load of new stuff that you didn't even realise you'd find.
Definitely, and I think that's a good thing, though, man. I think obviously with yourself then being primarily coming from that sort of D&B route, but obviously recently kind of switching up the flavors a little bit and kind of working in a lot of different areas. Like, if we were to kind of look now at like, what would you describe your sound as now, as obviously time's progressed?
Right now, I guess it would kind of be what the generic consensus is of like the roller sound, like more minimal kind of dark techie stuff is what I like, and kind of I'm trying to make in the background, just trying to get my head around how to make certain things. But it's kind of progressed a lot, because when I came in, I was just heavy into the jump up, and I was like, that was it. But then as I kind of started listening back to a lot of old artists and like all the jungle kind of stuff and seeing where like the actual sounds come from, it's definitely probably now like, the normal roller sound that's kind of coming through.
Okay, cool. I mean, what we're going to do is, with obviously with this interview, I like to play a bit of music in between, so our loving listeners can kind of take in, just some music to be honest with you. Obviously, we don't want to just chat away for half an hour. I like to get some audio in there. So we're going to get into this one first. Now, this one comes from yourself and Ruby Creed. It goes by the name of Wanna Be. So talk to me about this one. How did the tune come together?
Okay, so this one was... it was another song that I was working on at the time, and then my friends in Tengu, who are BASSLINE producers, and they do like work for Shapes label. No, sorry, not Shapes, for Four's label, Yosh, and they asked me if I wanted to be on their compilation album, and they got me in touch with the acapellas for Ruby songs, and then I kind of put it into what I was working on and made it fit, and it just kind of went from there.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to get into this one now then. Don't go anywhere, my friends. We are live on Cubcam TV, and Brekky In The Cave is the name of the show. We're live on the line with Red X. My name is KRYHON, by the way, for those that aren't aware. What I'm going to ask everyone looking in right about now to do is throw a like on the video. Of course, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel as well. The more likes we get on the video, the more people can see it, and we can continue to grow. And it takes half a second to do, so do us a favour as we get into this one. Don't go anywhere.
we have each other, that is enough for me. Felt like I wasn't living, even when my heart was free. Gonna love you too forever. With you is where I wanna be, wanna be, wanna be.
You're now locked into the breakfast show with Kovu. Anytime it's live, you have to go through. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, Corpcam TV. Stay locked.
What's going on, people? It's Razor. You're live and direct, locked into the waviest breakfast on the airwaves. Man like Cub Kovu. Bang.
Yo, and it's Brucey, and right now you're locked into Kovu, Dub Plate King.
That's a man like Luke Parker in the chat. How are you doing, sir? Good to hear from you. Good to see you. Do let us know how you're feeling, my friends. Send a little message in the chat if you've got any questions for either R3DX or Kryphon. We're going to get into those in a little bit, in a little while. Out to Tenhu saying, I denounce the ST. Don't know what that means, my friend. To everyone in the chat right about now, out to Senses, out to Luke Parker saying I linked Force on Monday for a little meetup to grab his limited edition merch. Nice. Out to Kryphon in the chat as well. Good to see you, sir. Oh yes, my friends, we're back inside the building. Lively stuff there from R3DX featuring Ruby Creed, going by the name of Wannabe. Out to everyone in the chat right about now. Man like R3DX is on the line. We're going to talk about 2020 then as a year. Obviously, it's an interesting one with lockdown kind of coming in and throwing everyone's kind of plans completely sideways. How have you found 2020?
It's just been a whirlwind, I think, for everyone, especially like the entertainment industry. There's just been so much stuff that's just being cut off this year that's probably not going to come in out until next year, like just movies, new music, just shows as well. Like some of the venues are starting to open up, so fingers crossed by the end of the year we might see some form of normalcy. It's just got to hold tight and weather the storm, I think, right now.
Definitely, I think that's true. Like, how have you found it from a musical level? Then, obviously, you're someone who seems to play a fair few shows. So, like, have you found that's kind of affected your influences in regards to not being able to go out to the shows as much?
Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of what would inspire me was always going out and hearing the new tunes or talking to some of my producer mates and then going to see them, and then you'd hear their new tunes and you'd be like, oh, that sounds sick on a rig. I want to go home and try and make something like that. Now, just kind of having to be in a lot with like the lockdown and quarantine, trying to keep myself inspired and motivated has been a challenge, but it opens up the ability to find new ways to keep yourself motivated, which is some stuff you might not realise if you didn't get this opportunity.
Nice. Well, there we go. Yeah, I think kind of moving forward then, obviously into like the 2020 in general, how much have you been able to kind of get down production-wise? Have you been able to get anything in?
I've started to finally just get a lot of stuff finish that I hadn't before. Luckily, before kind of lockdown and everything came in, I finished about 2 EPs worth of music that was ready to be submitted to some labels, as well as about another 2 self-releases as well. So in terms of content, if I want to get it out, I've got it there ready. But in terms of making new stuff, it's not been until recently I've kind of got my spark back and been making a lot of other genres to try and kind of get myself out of the funk. That I've really just been kind of, getting back into the grind recently. So hoping by at least middle of August, I'll be ready.
Nice, man. I mean, kind of with kind of what you've got going on then, would you say that kind of drift into more sort of like UK-based kind of sound has kind of helped on the influence side of things?
Yeah, definitely, because it's good to just make an assortment of stuff, especially stuff that you like, I find, so you don't just get locked in a routine and then just end up hating the genre that you started with. But I've always liked just bassline UK garage and stuff, and that's really what I've been making a lot of recently, especially UK garage. Not sure why, but sometimes when you sit down and you just let the electricity come out of the fingertips, it kind of gets itself in a good habit, in a good motion, and then before you know it, you've got through about 2-3 tracks. And then you can put them somewhere as well, especially with SoundCloud and Spotify just being a click away. There's always somewhere for the content.
Definitely, man, definitely. And it's just interesting to kind of hear you break it down more than anything else. Like, kind of then over that sort of period of time, then would you say you're very much looking forward to lockdown coming to an end? Because I've spoken to a lot of people who are kind of like, you know what, I'm kind of cool with it. Like, would you say you're keen for it to end, or are you kind of the other way?
What I've kind of felt about it is that just for once it's like you don't have to rush. I think with lockdown and everything kind of continuing to happen, when you're going out you have to keep the level of music just coming out constantly, the amount of shows and stuff like that. When you can sit back and actually take time, I think it's been good, and I think it's been good for a lot of quality of music as well. So we're just getting quality, not quantity, because people are sitting back and taking their time. So I think it's good that it's going to end, and it'll help rejuvenate the scene, but I definitely think it's had its positives as well.
Definitely. And I completely agree, man. I think kind of moving forward then, we have got a couple more bangers to get into. So what we're going to do is, let's look at this one then from yourself and Bert Cope. This one goes by the name of Rowdy. So talk to me about this one. How did you find the process of working with a man like Bert?
So I can't remember. I think this was like a few years ago before I'd even met him properly. Just always liked his stuff on SoundCloud. Had him on Facebook and stuff, and I think I just hit him up and he just sent me through some synths and some sounds, and then I found that acapella, which I think is like a Flirta D one, and we just kind of kept it going from there. And then that's kind of it, just the normal process of just chatting to someone, his stuff you rate, and then when you get working together and it starts to gel, before you know it, you've got a tune out. Lovely stuff.
Like with that then, would you say you're someone who likes to collaborate, or are you more of a kind of, in general, are you more of a solo guy, or are you someone who likes to like make an effort in regards to collaborating?
Yeah, I'm like quite 50-50 of a lot of stuff. I like kind of just taking other people's stuff and flipping it and putting my own spin on it, or kind of sending them my stuff and seeing what they do with it, because it's always intriguing to see what you can get out. It was like quite a while back, myself and Kryphon even like tried. I had just a few things, not sure where those tunes have gone, because my hard drive has been fucked for like the last year or so, but it's just always fun to just try and see what other people's processes are and what you can get out of it.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And I completely agree, bro. I completely agree. So let's get into this one then. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. Out to everyone locking in right about now. If you are locked in, make sure you're throwing a like on the video. Every like makes a massive difference, and we are trying to get this channel to 1,000 subs within the next 3 weeks. That's what we're trying to do. We're going up quite rapidly. So everyone, if you are locking in for the first time, make sure you're throwing a subscription on the channel. And we shall see you in a couple of seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, guaranteed that's a K-O. You don't wanna see me get rowdy. Guaranteed that the thing goes. You don't really wanna get knocked out. Guaranteed that's a K-O. You don't wanna see me get rowdy. You don't really wanna get knocked out. Guaranteed that's a K-O. You don't wanna see me get rowdy. You don't wanna see me get rowdy.
friends, we're back inside the building. Out to everyone locking in this morning. As I said before, I could see how many of you are locked in. Make sure you are throwing a like on the video. If we can even that number out, it makes life a lot easier in the long run for the channel, as we're trying to grow, people. We're trying to grow. Let's crack on then. Let's crack on. Moving forward with this interview. So, obviously, post-lockdown is sort of like a bit of a blur for a lot of people now, because we don't really know if it is going to be happening anytime soon. We don't know if it's going to reappear again in a couple of months. So when things do return to some sort of level of what we could call new normality, what's the kind of big plan for yourself?
For myself, I think it's just going to be getting out either a lot of new music or a lot of the old music. Right now, I'm kind of just holding back on releasing as much stuff as I'd want to, just so that I think it can be the right time. There's been a lot of people who are trying to start up their events and stuff, and so at least it seems that booking's going to be able to come back properly. I've had a few offers and a few things come forward that hopefully is keeping me in a good mood for the future. But post-lockdown, I think I'm just going to do the same as well. I'm going to hold off on flooding a load of stuff out and just still keep it with quality and consistency.
I think that's the best way to do it, man. And I think, like, with your sound as well, obviously, I feel you've adapted quite well to this essentially 4x4 sound, obviously moving away from the sort of original D&B flavours. Like, with that, would you say you're kind of quite keen to get booked for a wider range of sets now as well?
Yeah, definitely. I've always kept it that way. There have been a few times where I've done some shows where I've literally done a 90-minute bassline set and then gone and done a D&B set after, or vice versa. Or I've even done rhythm dubstep sets. I enjoy mixing, especially music that I all like. So I always like to keep as many arrows in my quiver as I can, really.
Definitely, I agree. It's a good way to be, man. Keeping the variation there, I feel, is what keeps things interesting. Obviously, a variety is the spice of life and all that good stuff there. So, kind of just to kind of look around then, because we've only got a couple of minutes left on this one. Just to kind of look around at who you're kind of feeling now. Like, who have you kind of got on the radar as people you'd be kind of keen to work with?
It's a lot hard. There's a lot of young up-and-comers right now. There's an up-and-comer called Entei, Black Harry, who's been making a load of great stuff recently. People like Hexa, Disruptor. I'm just trying to think, the list just does go on and on. I could keep just listing them off, but there's just so many different people, all with their own different styles and takes, and I find there's a lot of uniqueness coming recently during this period.
Nice. Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Very good to hear. So we've got a couple of minutes left of the show. So one time before we do finish up, what is the best place for people to get hold of you on different social media platforms?
So Instagram is the main one, which is R3DX DJ. Twitter as well, which is the same. I don't really use that too much, but I'll always see if anything comes up. Facebook, R3DX. SoundCloud as well. All of the links pretty much just the uniform.
Nice. So what's the next release from you looking like then? When can we expect some new music?
So we're almost getting close to 19,000 followers on SoundCloud. So I'm thinking to release either the VIP of my Bob Marley Could You Be Loved bootleg, or I'm thinking to release my End or Pump It Up bootleg, which I think is almost at 200,000 on Deep Rot. So wow. I think that's going to be the next one. Yeah,
I think that'll be one that gets a fair bit of attention from the follower base. That's really cool to hear. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish up with a track from yourself. It's another bootleg. Now this one caught my eye purely because I'm a big fan of the original tune, and I was quite keen to hear what you would kind of do with it in the remix sense. So Butterflies, AJ Tracey and Notes. This is your refix of that. How did this one come together, and why this tune?
It was I just like AJ Tracey's stuff, and I was just thinking I wanted to make something, and then I heard that tune and I was like, oh, you know what, I think I could do something with this. And then it's just kind of the same process of just trial and error, find a little bits of the song you can cut out, work in, and it all just kind of flows naturally. So I was quite happy with that one.
Lovely. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. So we're going to finish up here. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this morning. Thank you for jumping on the line. If there are any other shout-outs you wanted to let us know about before we finish up?
Shout out to Senses as well, locked in. Shout out to Tenhu as well. Shout out to Becca. Out to Subsonic Harry as well. And I'll see you later.
Lovely stuff. Good stuff. Don't go anywhere, my friends. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's been an absolute pleasure having R3DX on the show. We're going to jump into this interview with Kryphon in just a second. As I said before, if you are locked in, it's your first time on the channel, make sure you throw a subscription on the channel. We've got loads of good stuff on the way. And as well as that, throw a like on the video. Let us know how you're feeling in the chat on the right-hand side. Out to Senses, out to, R3DX yourself. You're in the chat as well. Out to Harry Peters, out to Tenhu, out to Jack as well, out to Kryphon, out to Luke Parker, and anyone else locking in. Do let us know where you're locking in from. And with that, we're going to jump into this one and get onto the phone with Kryphon. So let's go.
I just came to relax one time. They be saying, young nigga, how you act so fly. She be sweating when it's back short time. I told her, slow down, baby, take your time. She done spread it for them waist, man. Yeah, oh no, cause she knows that's mine. Them other things, man, they don't compare. She the only one that gets my shit. I just came to relax one time. They be saying, young nigga, how you act so fly. She be sweating when it's back short time. I told her, slow down, baby, take your time. She done spread it for them waist, man. Yeah, oh no, cause she knows that's mine. Them other things, man, they don't compare. She the only one that gets my shit.
We're inside the building. How are we doing? That one coming to us from R3DX, his remix of AJ Tracy and Notes Butterflies. We're on to our second guest of the day. Man like Kryphon is in the building. How are you doing, sir?
All right, nice. Yeah. I'm not good, man. How yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks for jumping on the show this morning. Again, this is one we've kind of had in the books for a fair few weeks. I've been looking forward to getting it in. Let's kind of kick this one off similar to the last one and kind of take it back to quite the basics, shall we? And ask, for those who are locked in, who for some reason aren't aware of who Kryphon is, I'm going to ask the question: who is Kryphon?
Kryphon is me. What do you know? The background was name.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, I think my signal went slightly. So from that, what I mean is like, who are you? Like, what do you do? Like, what has been your kind of main musical kind of outlay? Like just some background on what the Kryphon brand is.
Well, the Kryphon brand is me just being my creative side and just doing what I do. Nothing forced, nothing to it. I don't lean towards one genre. I tend to go all over. And I just do what I'm comfortable with, really.
Nice. Well, I was going to say that's a good way to be, because I think a lot of the time people can get quite wrapped up in essentially what a brand represents and what a brand and all these sort of side things. And I get the impression from yourself that you are someone who's very much like you want to just do what you enjoy doing more than anything else.
Yeah, of course, all the time. I never really try to put pressure on myself because there's other things in life to worry about. But yeah, I just have fun with it.
Definitely. I think well, literally, as I just said, I think it's very easy to kind of get a bit sidetracked with the musical side of things, because obviously we are here to have fun at the end of the day. Obviously we're trying to make careers and we're trying to kind of grow out of things, but I think having fun is that most important element. So kind of going back to the beginning for yourself, what was that first kind of spark? What was that first kind of dash of inspiration that made you go, this is what I want to do?
Basically, it all sparked from, I used to be in a band though, and then we all did our thing, you know, I did in school. And then we all just parted, did our own thing, got jobs, all that shit. And then it left me there with just the guitar, thinking, who's going to play the bass, who's going to play the drums? And then that's what I did. And then I just recorded all the tracks in, and then I found the godly VST 7. And then my life was changed.
Nice. So it was very much a case of kind of going from a band kind of background to going, you're pretty much on your own now, to kind of having to do everything for yourself. Like, when did that then, I mean, when you first started doing that sort of essentially full group production by yourself, was it originally still in that sort of band kind of vein, like you were trying to recreate that sort of sound, or did you immediately gravitate more towards very electronic stuff?
Well, it was more band stuff, really, like more instrument based. And then I started looking out for new VSTs to like improve my production. And that's when I found all like Massive and then Serum, and then just completely new bass to my ears. And I was like, holy Christ, what the hell is this bass?
And then
dabbled with it.
And then it just comes from there. Oh, okay, awesome. Like with your kind of like sound, then, like how long ago was this? Just to kind of clarify.
Well, like my most popular thing that everyone loves. It's more like probably like a year ago. It really developed because I started trying to make it more melodic stuff, because bassline was really like, it weren't very melodic back then, but it's currently coming into the scene where it's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, I feel that. I think with your like position on that, then would you say you're more like now? Would you say you're a lot more interested in the melodic side or the more sort of raucous?
Melodic, definitely. I find it more pleasing, and I find it more rewarding because you can have a little melody to it, have a little sing along, you know.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and I think, well, at the end of the day, when we're talking about almost like memorability for music, especially in electronic music, it's not all about being as loud and as almost intrusive as possible. A lot of the time, what people remember most of the time is that melodic side of things. People remember the sing-along elements of tunes. Like with this kind of layout, then obviously coming from a more sort of band background, when did you first play a DJ set? Following on from that.
That think about 2 years ago as well, because that was just me making music when I posted it, and some guys from Oxford offered like, trying to come down here and come at the cellar, and I was like, I've never even DJ'd in my life, I've never even touched any decks, and stupid me, I just said yeah, and I'm taking this opportunity. And I had like 2 hours practice and then went to Oxford.
So what, the first show you ever played was literally off 2 hours practice, and having never played before, went to play one of the most sort of highly regarded venues at the time in the country?
Yep.
Like, how did you find it? Like, how did you find to an extent, essentially, I wouldn't even necessarily say winging it, but how did you find kind of going into that scenario with so little kind of like catalogue of experience?
It was terrible. I literally went behind the decks, and it weren't even in like the booth in the pirate, and I was like, no, what are these? What's that mixer? And it was Rito next to me. He's like, look, this is the same. You use that, you use this. It's exactly the same, trust me. You know, mate, I've never felt anything so scared in my life.
What was the reaction like on the evening?
I mean, it was good, because everyone was just, you know, doing what everyone does that doing the rave, and so no one really noticed.
I love that. I love it as a story. The fact that like the first show, I mean, to be honest, even that quickly kind of from that, it's quite a quick transition to kind of go into doing a live show. But the fact that you've done it off 2 hours practice, and kind of and turn up in Oxford and the system's entirely different. I love stories like that, man. Like kind of with that then, how long did it kind of take before you were playing quite regularly?
Probably about 3 months after that, when I released the Tarantula bootleg, and then things started to go a bit more positive for me and a bit more comfortable with it. Then I just started enjoying the crowd and just doing stupid stuff. But people loved it.
Definitely, man, definitely. So with that Tarantula remix then, would you say that's definitely the tune that's kind of like opened the most doors for you in the long run?
Definitely. Because at that point, I was just making music, just, you know, I listen to music, I make music like it. And then I had some of the top guys in the scene like, can I have this song and we'll play at this massive festival, this venue? And I'm like, yeah, sure. with that then, have you kind of noticed a direct kind of continuous growth since that moment in time then? Have the shows been getting bigger? Have like the stages been improving? Yeah, definitely. It's like I'm going to venues and people are like, say you have a line of 6 people like purposely like going out their way to come to me to be like, oh hey man, I love your music, and that's just so abnormal to me because I never really put my music out to be, because when I started, all my music base was in USA.
Okay.
To have it locally was just crazy.
Nice. Like, so just to kind of break that down a little bit, then, how do you mean like your fan base was primarily in the US? Like, do you know why that was?
Because I was making more like future, I don't know, like really future stuff that I don't even know if I'm explaining. But it just, American people just started to come on to me, and I just took that on, and it just growth like coming up. And then I released a couple more UKs, and then the tables turned.
Wow, I mean that is I mean, to be honest, I still can't get over the story of the first show. That's fantastic. That's going in the end of year. That's going in the end of year show reel for this show when I put together the funniest moments. But I love it. It's and it's sick to see the progression as well, because it seems to have been quite like I mean, do you feel it's been quite a quick process?
Well, I've been making music for 10 years, but in terms of speaking, when that first people started getting attention, that growth did come really quick. It's very surprising to me. It just, the numbers just kept increasing, and I didn't know what to do with it.
And it's just almost like spiraled to an extent.
Well, yeah, it's speechless, really. Just to see like how many people, like, the chain of people listen to your songs, because a friend tells a friend who tells a friend, and then everybody in that region knows. It's just crazy.
Definitely. I mean, what we're going to do is then we're going to split this up a little bit. We're going to jump into a track first. This one goes by the name of Remember Me. So talk to me about this one, how it came together, all of that good stuff.
So Remember Me is just a reminder to people that I don't just make UK based and all that stuff. Sometimes I just make what I feel, go out my way, and if I enjoy it, I'll finish it.
Nice. Well, it's a good attitude to have, man. What I'm loving about this more than anything else is very much like, it doesn't feel like you're forcing anything, you know. It really feels like what your kind of approach to this is kind of, I enjoy what I'm doing, and that's what I want to do. I want to enjoy it more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I've got 20 songs that have been just probably about 2 years, just because I love them. I just listen to them. I don't think anyone else would. It's just more for me.
Oh, there we go. Good stuff. Right then, don't go anywhere, my friends. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. Out to the locked-in crew. As I said before, throw a like on the video if you're looking in for the first time. Hit subscribe on the channel as well. Plenty more to come. Keep it locked.
I see the light. You're in the dark again. Don't wanna fight, just to see a smile when the feeling gets too much and you feel there's nothing left. You can't walk without a crutch. It's too heavy on your chest. Just wake me up when it's all over. Wake me up again. If I leave this world, will you remember me in this
Right then, friends, we're back inside the building. Sounds of Kryphon on that one, going by the name of Remember Me. He's live on the line with us this morning. I can definitely hear myself in the background there. So let's kind of crack on with what we've got going on this morning then. So let's talk about 2020 as a year. How have you found things?
Things have been no different for me, to be honest, or like COVID and that, because I work in food chain, so I've just been working all the way through as normal.
Oh, really? So it's just
different is shows.
Like, how have you found it from a kind of inspiration level then? Like, have you found yourself making more music, less music? Are you more inspired, less inspired?
Probably less music, because it's usually when I go out and like listen to music or play music out, it's a massive motivation to just go. But there's nothing been there lately. I've just been working away.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair enough, though. Like, kind of pre-lockdown. Then, did you have much sort of stuff like lined up and ready to go in regards to releases?
Yeah. So, well, not release-wise. I was still like finishing a couple of tracks, like playing out shows. I was gonna play somewhere big, back to back with Forza. I forgot what it's called now. But it was a big festival that like is a massive thing for me. The first festival outside of just bass band orientated D&B. I'm trying to find what it's called.
But so there was like a big one kind of in the works. That was the thing that you were kind of looking forward to, and obviously COVID has kind of pushed that away.
But yeah, definitely, because me and Force had it planned like we were just gonna fight on people, and people just be like, whoa, and then like we left it back for 2 months, 3 months. And then it just cancelled because of Corona.
It's the worst thing, man. I mean, kind of, would you say you kind of, well, I mean, I'm assuming you do. I'm assuming you do really kind of miss playing the live shows.
Yeah, definitely. It's just an escape to reality, to be honest. It's just time to yourself, be who you are, that kind of stuff.
Oh, have I lost you again? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. My signal keeps going a little bit. So kind of like with that then, with yourself kind of moving out of lockdown when it does kind of come to an end, would you say that's the thing you're looking forward to doing the most, is getting back into the live events and the live shows?
Of course, because you get like the live reactions of people to all this music you've been trying to make, and then if it's a good reaction, you can finish it off and release.
Nice. I mean, kind of
seeing people again, being active.
Yeah, I mean, again, you do really strike me as someone who just wants to have a good time as much as anything else, which is sick to hear. And I think kind of breaking it down, then obviously you're speaking about new music.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like kind of breaking it down and speaking about like new music and stuff you've got on the way. Like with releases, then, like how has this year been? Have you still been able to get stuff out there?
Just an EP that I've been working on for a long time. Quite a period. And it works fair. I've released some bootlegs to keep people occupied. And just released a song with Window Kid. That was literally about 2 years ago. And we finally recovered the project and just said, let's get it out there. Well, it's all quiet out there.
I think my signal's really fucking up today. I don't know what's going on. Kind of looking through this. I can't really hear you, if I'm being honest with you. It keeps cutting out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-ring you. Give me 1 second. Out to everyone looking in this morning, of course. We are live on Brekky In The Cave, and it's been a whole 48 hours since we last had Brecknicles, so I'm going to turn this back on. Hopefully, we can get a bit of a cleaner signal and go through that. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me now?
Hello.
There we go. That's a lot cleaner. That's what I was looking for. So kind of with this. Sorry, I couldn't really hear what you were saying in regards to releases that have dropped this year. So do you want to run through those again?
Yeah, sure. So I took a chance. Yeah, I'm releasing the EP that I'm working on for like a year, and it's done well, to be honest. I've put out a couple of bootlegs, just 2 months apart, just to keep on it, really. So I ain't quiet. I'm just trying to be always active. Just releasing old songs, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like, would you say you've got like a big stack in that back catalogue then?
It's questionable, but yeah. If I were to release one song a month, I could probably do the year. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean that's still a considerable back catalogue though, to still have that many sort of tunes finished and done and kind of ready to go, which is a good thing. What we're going to do is we're going to jump into another track next. Now this one goes by the name of Eyes. So talk to me about this one, how it came together. Like, is it out now? What's the situation with it?
Okay, this is my baby's moment. It's my intro song that keeps everybody like everything's blacked out and all you hear is sirens. But it was just a little mess of it at first, just stupid sounds for an intro, that ominous sound. And then it turned out a lot better than I thought it would personally, and people just went mad to it.
Okay, cool. So this is a tune that realistically isn't likely to be dropping anytime soon. This is how you open your sets.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Lovely. Right then, out to the locked in crew each and every time. We are live on Brekky In The Cave, of course, via DAB in the Brighton area, via Trickstar Radio, and of course on Cubcam TV. If you are locked in, for a subscription on the channel, and we shall see you in a second.
But you treated me like I couldn't see. I thought you were the one, but I know that I'll never be the girl that you need. You need. You would feel the same if you were at the back of her mind. Suddenly, just from my
It's Kryphon.
My friends, we're live inside the building. This is Brekky In The Cave as we move into the final section for today. Out to Patrick joining us, out to Cookie, out to Kajama in the chat. How are you doing, sir? Good to see you in here. Out to man like Jack as well. Out to Bitlow, and out to Aiju. I think that's how you pronounce it. Aiju. I'm not too sure. But let's crack on then with the final section of this. Let's look to the future with yourself. What's the kind of big plan for the next year or so?
For me at the moment, it's to keep consistent because, you know, I reckon next year will be a big family year for me because my daughter's got a new adventure for herself. But the aim is to keep consistent, let the shows come in and just let time just do what it does. If it it for the best or not.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, I feel that. And again, it kind of comes back to this idea of just kind of doing what you enjoy more than anything else. And I love that approach, and I love the fact that it's not driven by kind of like, I want to get to here in this show and this, that, and that. And it's very much like going with the flow, which is something you don't tend to see as much anymore.
Well, yeah, I can agree. There's a lot of people out there who just want to be top, want the money, all that stuff. You see them a lot.
No, I feel that.
Then it ain't real, is it?
I feel that. No, I feel that. Out to IQ in the chat, basically telling me how to tell his name. I apologise, sir. I'm dreadful with reading names off. That's my bad. But kind of like looking forward. Then, obviously, you've got like a few bits in the works, I'm presuming, and obviously very keen to kind of get back into doing the live shows. Like in regards to releases, sort of how often can we kind of expect to see new bits from yourself dropping over the course of the next year?
I'll probably give it every 2 months, just release-wise, trying to go on different labels, just so I can always be in front and never slack.
No, I agree with that. That's a good way to be, and I think it's important now because obviously it's an unusual time for bass music in general because there are now so many producers who all have access to all of these platforms. Everyone has access to near enough every label now. Everyone can release on their own if they want to. Everyone has like good design, good artwork, and a lot of people are making very kind of like banging stuff. I think being consistent is very important, and I think that's something that we've been seeing from yourself over the course of the last few years. Like with like new music then, like have you got much that's in the pipeline signed and ready to go?
I have nada.
You've got nothing? Nothing.
No, I got nothing. For me, it's really, I have like, try and keep a good connection with labels, so I could try and give us like a 2 week, but a 3 week notice just to say, you're interested in this, so we get it out. It's in the moment for me. I can't really just sit on a song for like a long time if I want people to hear it that much. Because then I lose boredom. That's my problem.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like kind of, okay, kind of to wrap up then. Obviously, we've got about a minute and a half left of this show, I want to fit in as much as possible before we get into that final tune. In regards to sort of socials and stuff like that, what's the best place for people to get hold of you?
Best place would probably Instagram, which is all at KRYHON with a 0. I mean, with the O being a 0.
Okay, cool. So KRYPH0N.
That's the one.
There we go. I literally had to close my eyes to spell that out. I was that far away from getting it. Okay, cool. Well, we've got one more tune to run for the rest of the show, which is a track by the name of Flatty. So talk to me about this one.
Flatty is the bootleg of Flat Beat, but it's like more of a grime-ish kind of thing going on. It's just different thing again. What I'm in the mood to make, it just goes off the rails because it's so different.
Nice. That's what we like to hear, though, man. And people like to be surprised. I think definitely in raves, people like to kind of be hit with that thing of, oh, where did this come from? But it's something that will never kind of die in raves, I think.
Definitely, man, because it builds up like it would be like a best time track, and then it just switches into half-time.
Nice. Good way to be. What a great way to end the show then. That's kind of it for us then. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this one and finish up the show there. KRYHON, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on.
No worries at all. And we'll speak soon.
Speak soon. Thank you.
Bless, bro. Bless. Right then, my friends, thank you for joining me this morning. It's been a very enjoyable show. Apologies for the slight connection issues. I'm sure we'll be able to edit it together properly in the podcast setting. But as I said before, massive shouts out to everyone who has been locked in. What we're going to do is we're going to finish up with this one, Flatty. Before that, though, I have got a couple of things to kind of get through in regards to, obviously, announcements. Myself on socials, you can catch me at KRYHON on Instagram, alongside Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, SoundCloud, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, at KRYHON. As well as that, you can check the podcast for this show out via Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. All of those, you just search Breakfast with KXVU, the interviews, and you will find all of the previous shows we've done. There's loads on there, and it's great fun. As well as that, quick word for our sponsors, Sharpen Digital. They've helped this show out a lot in regards to SEO and kind of the growth of the platform more than anything else. So a massive shouts out to them, the alternative to hiring social media managers, as you can see. And if you haven't already checked this one out, do go and check out the Thursday premieres alongside the new program we've got running with Ed Rants, which is called Bridge the Gap, looking at the primary similarities between grime and drill, giving you some examples of why the genres aren't that different. So there we go. We're going to finish up with this one, though. Massive shouts out to everyone who has been locked in, and we shall see you in the morning. Where am I going? There we are. Peace.